everyone. I'm Larry Ridley, and this is the NFL on EA Sports. Today's matchup features two teams looking for a win. It's the Saints coming in at 1-7, going up against the Broncos, who come in at 4-5. With that, let's get out to our commentators, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis, for this Week 10 matchup.
From a city that's played host to 10 Super Bowls, here's a look inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. Today we hit Week 10, and we've got a good one in store between the Denver Broncos and the New Orleans Saints. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden. And Charles, you look at this Saints team as they interplay. We're in November now, so this is where you really need to settle in, start getting down to business.
And in baseball, they talk about the dog days of August. November, these are the dog days of football, trying to get in position for the big push.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Broncos, things haven't gone exactly according to plan to this point, but boy, you and I down there with them before the game, they were fired up.
And they understand how important this game is. Win this one, they can start to think about a turnaround.
No. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And the former Heisman winner, this is Mark Ingram. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up second down. And the offense there, the O-line, everybody really on offense, they were just manhandled at the point of attack.
Yeah, you could pretty much call them all out, couldn't you? Almost by name, right? That was a very tough sequence for the offensive line. But how about that defensive front, creating a new line of scrimmage and creating a lost yardage possibility.
And able to stay on his feet past the 30 to about the 33-yard line.
Look, the first down marker is out there, but sometimes it's hard to find for an offense when they're in a long yardage situation, which usually means throw the football. In this case, they went against the tendency and ran it, and boy, the reward was there. A big, big pickup, and guess what? It's now 3rd and very short in order to try and pick up a first down. Looks like a nickel set here defensively on 3rd and 2.
Yeah, maybe expecting a throw. Breeze looking to throw on 3rd and 2. Now Breeze lost the football. And they will set up shop with outstanding field position in the red zone at the 17-yard line. And without a doubt, not the way they pictured that opening drive unfolding.
No, they were making progress. They weren't exactly in high gear, but they were making a few yards along the way. And now that they've coughed it up, you got to go back to the sidelines and regroup a little bit.
The first carry for the rookie from Georgia. It's Keith Marshall. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1.
First play of the drive, let's give credit all around. Excellent blocking, but the guy carrying the ball, he was the finisher. A really nice run.
Play clock winding down. They stay on the ground. This is Marshall again. And this carry not as productive. He's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down.
But Nick Fairley's on his game. He is your prototypical defensive tackle who can make disruptive plays. Great hands, really good quickness.
And here's Marshall. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Denver score. Keith Marshall, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Broncos have taken the early lead.
I know we don't talk about it enough, but the intelligence level of the guys up front blocking, the offensive linemen, maybe the smartest guys in football overall. Add in a little bit of athleticism and a whole lot of toughness.
Comes out to the 25-yard line. The Saints coming out now to take the field. And last time, not only the turnover, but that turned into 6 points. They got to make up for that here.
We always hear about empty possessions, but some are worse than others. You can have an empty possession, punt the ball away, get yourself set to play defense, but when you turn it over, it changes momentum, and when they take it downfield and punch it in on you, that's a bad possession all the way around.
Yeah, but you're hungry to get back out there, aren't you?
You'd better be, because otherwise, it's going to be a long day for you.
On second down, Ingram. Oh, what a juke into space. A big play there out of the running game. 33 yards.
Dance class, anyone? Did you see the steps between the quarterback and the running back on that counter?
That's what you need for a good counter.
You have to have it because you're setting up your blocking. There's a timing element as well, but they have to marry up their steps. Otherwise, that timing gets thrown out the window.
Timing was great there and a big run. Now Breeze. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he's going to get this inside the 30. 13 yards there on the pickup, and that leads to a New Orleans first down.
When you execute a drag or a crossing route really well and give them a chance to let it develop a little bit, you can gain some significant yardage hitting your tight end on that one.
Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it second down. And the D-line pinching together must be expecting the run. They come up with one back. That's Ingram. Breeze nowhere to turn here, and he's going to go down. Back at about the 37-yard line.
Well, the beauty of screen passes is they take a little time to develop, and they can often hit big, but sometimes they take too long to develop, and sometimes you get sacked.
Yeah, what's perfectly called for a defense to attack a screen?
Typically a blitz, and even though people think that the screen...
And pressure coming, and they got him once again. Looks like a 9-yard loss, and it also brings up 4th. Now the 8-year man out of SMU, Thomas Morstead, on to kick it away. At the end of one, 7-0 is our score. EA Sports NFL Sunday returns following this. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. It's Saints football to begin quarter number 2. They are, however, facing a 4th down situation. Here's Thomas Morstead on now to punt it away on 4th down. That one sails out of bounds. The side judge will walk it off. And he says it went out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Nice punt. The Broncos offense now gets ready to head back onto the field. And that recipe on their last drive that resulted in a touchdown looked pretty good. So they'll be hoping to do that once more.
And it takes me back to when we sat with the offensive coordinator.
Demaryius Thomas, 30, 20, 10, 5, and all the way home for a Broncos score. Demaryius Thomas, 91 yards. And the Broncos able to show off their quick strike ability. So from back deep in their home territory all the way into the end zone, you think they expected to score on that one?
I'm not sure they expected to score, but they also showed that they're not averse to taking a little bit of a risk there, right? Taking a chance, because the normal call is take care of the football, run it, be safe. Instead, they put it in the air and took a gamble, and it paid off in a big way. That wasn't an analytics call. That wasn't a fantasy guy's call. That was like a video game call right there.
It was a little bit of a video game call, but it worked. How does the Saints offense now as they get ready to take over here? And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
7 yards on the play, and that'll make this a second down. And, boy, they had high praise for this rookie receiver when we asked the coaches about him, didn't they?
They certainly did, and obviously they liked his measurables. Otherwise, they wouldn't have brought him onto the team. Height, weight, speed, all of that. But how about what they really said? Competitiveness. That's what they really liked about him. The way he goes after the football, competes for it, and decides when it's in the air, it's his and only his. Love the call by the offensive coordinator, recognizing the situation very well, calling for the play-action pass, and completing it.
And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. They come out here in the eye. This is Ingram on 1st and 10. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
When you're putting together a formula for winning defense, it's exactly what we're seeing in this game. Controlling the line of scrimmage, attacking, and changing everything so that now they're playing in the offense's backfield. They're playing an excellent game.
Trying to run inside, but nothing there. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up 3rd.
Anthony Barr got a real education at UCLA and playing not just his normal position of stand-up outside linebacker, but down defensive end. So he had to incorporate a variety of moves, take on bigger people. So he learned great leverage while he was there. That really helps him when he's trying to stop people running the ball.
Born in South Bend, Indiana. Thought about going back to go to Notre Dame, but you're right. Great career at UCLA and now a great career in the NFL. Give him 7 on the play, and that's going to bring up a 4th down. Out now is the field goal unit for New Orleans. This from 54 yards away. And did he have enough? He did. He kept it online and managed to tuck it into the bottom right corner. And they will indeed get on the board here, but still trailing. It's now 13-3. Well, their offense has struggled for sure, but they get the field goal here and at least get on the board before half.
And that's not something we should underestimate, because just getting points on the board can sometimes have a settling effect on a team. Helps them start their comeback.
Morstead, the punter, out to kick it off. This will be taken in at the 1. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. And coming out now, the Broncos. And last time the formula was pretty simple. 1-play drive, long pass. Maybe they just want to do that again, right?
And that's exactly how you want to draw things up. Whether it's on your grease board, right, in your playbook, 1-play drive is exactly what you want on offense. What they have to be careful of is not having a letdown. It was real easy last time. They can't expect that going forward.
And we'll see if it's that easy here. Now Lynch to the sideline, and that is a heck of a catch as he was able to get both feet in. And they talked about how important the passing game was going to be against that defensive look. Good job there going to the air for the 1st down.
It's all about preparation. It's all about planning. And then it's about execution. So put it all together in practice. Okay, this is what we think we're going to see. This is how they get to it. Onto the receiver. Catching the ball, timing it up with the quarterback. Are my feet going to get down in bounds? On that play, all those things going through his head might have caused him to drop it.
2 minutes remain here in the 1st half. We're back to New Orleans after this. A reminder coming up at halftime. Larry Ridley will join us from Orlando with our halftime report, but business to take care of before that. Thomas, the lone receiver, left. On 3rd and 1, it's Lynch. And he will have a man, Demaryius Thomas. He gets 7 out of it, and he also gets a first.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. 1st down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
Fresh set of downs here. So in the 2nd quarter, he's already up over 100 yards receiving now.
And isn't 100 the magic number for a really good game for a receiver? So he got a chance to really shatter that and have a profound effect on this game.
Give him 10 yards on the pickup, and that'll bring up a 2nd and just about a few inches here. Offense walks to the line for play number 7 of the drive. They come out here in the eye. Here's Lynch. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a 1st down. Well done. He's been a busy man here in this one, and they're showing off some nice footwork to stay in bounds.
And with those types of catches and the volume that we've seen in this game, wouldn't you keep him busy as well?
I would.
Of course. You got to keep throwing it to him. He keeps making plays.
And he'll fight his way down right around the 12. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
I think we know by now that every run is not going to be broken and get all the way to the end zone. But these short ones still have their value. You can still set up the play action and throw the football. You control the clock because you have the ball and they don't. And often the physicality sets the tempo for the game.
It's a 10-yard gain there, and it sets him up now 1st and goal.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route, and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and get the...
And he'll get in. Touchdown, Denver. Keith Marshall with his 2nd touchdown of the game, 4th of the year. And the Broncos will extend their lead.
I heard a coach talk about those late-in-the-half scores, especially ones that give your team a pretty decent cushion. He said those could be the ones that can finish off a squad if you let them.
Yeah, they've got the cushion. This half has been theirs. That's fielded in the end zone. And this will be a touchback. Last year would have come out to the 20. This year they'll move it out to the 25-yard line. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned they're down. They're trying to get back into the game.
Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Now Breeze throwing on 2nd down. Brought in left side by Snead. At 5 yards on the play there, the drive will continue. We heard them talk before the game about utilizing the intermediate passing game this week. It works for them there. They move the chains.
And we saw them work on it in practice as well. And most teams take a period at a time to work on different things. They put a couple of periods of work into the intermediate passing game, and now we know exactly why.
Now Breeze lost the football. And they have the football and will set up shop at the 33-yard line.
That feels like an accumulation of the pressure we've seen all game. I mean, he's been on the turf a whole lot because of sacks. Eventually, something else happens as well, and this time there was a turnover.
Yeah, caught up to him. And they'll start this drive with very good field position.
Watch it now, Barney, Barney. Hurry up, here we go. Green 39, Green 39.
Following the fumble recovery, here's Lynch. Trying to get it to Thomas, and it's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half. That late in the clock, 2nd quarter, why not just run it a time or 2 and get it into the locker room?
What you're saying makes absolutely perfect sense. Run it and get out of there. But I'm just wondering if the pressure of today's NFL and the high-powered offenses that you're facing may force them into saying, let's try and get some more points.
They run. It's Mark Ingram. A gain of 3, 2nd down. Now the Broncos are going to take a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. And they will take a knee here. So we come upon halftime with the visiting Broncos taking the lead to the locker room. As we send you on over to Orlando, where we'll check in with Larry Ridley. He's got our EA Sports Halftime Report. Larry?
Thanks, Brandon, and welcome to the EA Halftime Report. Let's take a look back at the first half. The Saints haven't had the same success as last week through the air. The Broncos defense obviously has something to do with that and should be credited.
And Larry apparently very brief in his report. Thanks anyway, my man, as we're already set for action. This fielded at the 2. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Here comes the Broncos offensive unit here as they'll have it first to begin this 3rd quarter. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the 2nd half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the 2nd half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. Time running out here on the play clock. They'll run with Marshall. And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
This drive is turning into an extended one, and the guy carrying the ball, he's becoming more like a body blows guy. Every carry is putting some damage on the defense. So after a while, I'm not too sure how many guys are going to want to run up and tackle him.
And he's going to get this inside the 30. A nice pickup there, 10 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
Well, that's the desired outcome coming out here in the second half, of being able to run the football and establish a little bit of pace and maybe even a bit of dominance at the line of scrimmage. And they want that to continue. Way too early to think about this being ball control time. But the way they're running it, you got to think they may want to continue that and see if they can go ahead and grind their opponents into submission. And the tackle's made there by one of the secondary members. And I can guarantee you, having played that spot in the huddle right now or on the field, they're urging for a little bit more support from the guys up front. I actually remember one game where I hopped over a defensive lineman to make a tackle downfield and realized he was 10 yards downfield. That's not good. That's being driven off the line of scrimmage, and you can't have that if you're going to win a game on defense.
C.J. Anderson of the game. He gets it here. And he's maybe going to get this back to the 4, but that's about all. This will be play number 7 on the drive. 3rd and a yard. This is Marshall. And he will take it in for a Bronco touchdown. Keith Marshall, his 3rd touchdown of the game and 5th on the year. And the Broncos will add on to their lead. He keeps carrying the ball into the end zone, and in this one, he's sort of carrying the team on his back.
He's the reason that they lead right now, no question about it. And you talk about on his back, he's not minding the extra weight at all, is he? Carrying that just as lightly as he does the football. Yeah, what a great performance so far.
Those 3 touchdowns, it's got him in the lead. The Broncos defense getting ready to go. They'll run with Ingram here to begin the drive. And he'll work his way across the 30 to the 32. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
Some runs are blocked so well, you almost forget that someone has to carry the ball to gain the yardage. The leverage by the offensive line to create space up front, really well done.
To throw, it's Breeze. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there, freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
Possible run anticipation here as the D-line sandwiches together. A 10th carry here. And after the play on the ground, that brings up 2nd down here.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
To the sideline, and oh, a nice catch there. Made sure the feet were inbounds, and they were.
I do have to admit, I like it when it all comes together. When the top part, catching the football, right, whether you're catching it with your hands or cradling it, comes together with the legs, in this case the feet, doing a little toe tap.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Looks like a 9-yard loss. pass, and it also brings up fourth. Here's Thomas Morstead now, as he'll kick it away for the second time. This is fielded inside the 5. And he's got room. And he will score. Touchdown, Denver. Their dangerous wide receiver with his first career NFL touchdown. And the Broncos add on.
I think we probably ought to avoid the tape review of this one, right? I mean, we don't want to sit in there and listen to what his teammates are going to say. He went that far and didn't score a touchdown.
Well, it's back now here live in New Orleans, where the fourth quarter will begin with a kickoff following the score on the final play of the third quarter. Now McManus on to kick this one off. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And with this deficit, you can't have too many more drives like the last drive where you had to punt it away.
You know what I would tell my offense right here? The punter doesn't exist, guys. He doesn't even exist. He's not a team anymore. I just cut him, all right? So you've got to go out and create some offense for us here and give us some points. No way does that guy get on the field on this drive.
Poor punter.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. But, hey, listen, if there are going to be casualties at times, we're trying to win a game.
And there they went crossing route against the zone defense. What do you think of that?
Takes real coordination between the passer and the receiver because you've got to read those zones and where the open spots are and be on the same page with the guy throwing the football. Because sometimes you're throwing it in front of the zone. Sometimes you're throwing it between the zones. Sometimes the receiver's going to just kind of find a spot and what we call sit down and present himself to the quarterback and throw it there. It's a tough read, but when they're in sync, it's really effective.
Trying to get it to Willie Snead there. That'll bring up second down.
Out routes are always timing routes, and if the timing's off just a little bit, it can really throw off a play. It looked like he led him a little too much there.
Yeah, there was a fraction of a second because he caught it, just couldn't stay in bounds. They go play action for Ingram. Now, and the pressure gets to Breeze as he's taken down. He'll wind up losing a full 9 yards here on the sack. Now it's third down. He didn't get rid of the football there, took the sack, although that's easier said than done. He can't just chuck the thing sideways into the seats.
No, he really can't because you're not afforded total protection as a quarterback. You have to get outside of the tackle boxes as defined by the NFL, meaning wherever your tackles operate normally, get outside of that. And the ball that you throw has to get back to at least the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, you face an intentional grounding call. Well, that's certainly playing down and distance very well by the defense, isn't it? Take whatever you want underneath, by all means.
Tremendous return there, 39 yards. And it'll be a short field for the Broncos as they take over 1st and 10. And Denver getting set to take the field. And that last drive, it was all about the ground game, ground and pound.
And I don't care how we're playing the game these days, offensive linemen still want to fire out and smack the guy opposite them and move the football on the ground. They feel better about that. That's what they want to do. That's how they want to play, and that's how they got it done.
Yeah, they got it for a touchdown last drive. Let's see what happens here. Now Marshall. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving. And a new set of downs here after picking up the first on the ground. Thomas, the lone receiver, left. They'll need to get the play off quickly. Lynch to throw. And the tip there altered the ball flight, and it falls incomplete. It'll be second down.
Anytime a ball's thrown in the middle of the field, it's popped up in the air, I expect someone to catch. It doesn't matter whether it's offense or defense because there's usually a great amount of bodies in that part of the field. In this case, no one came up with it.
Now Lynch to throw. There's that man again, Demaryius Thomas. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. offense comes to the line now, 1st and 10.
Watch you now, Barney. Barney. No. Check. Right, here we go.
Going to give this time to the tailback. And he's got this one down to the 10. A nice run there, 9 yards, and it'll be 2nd down. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. So it's Bronco football as we get you reset here. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. 7 yards on the pickup there, and now they've got it 1st and goal.
A lot of people call the toss a probing play to see what they can get against the defense, to see how they adjust and react. Their probing's working pretty well. That was a very nice run.
They'll try to run it in with Marshall. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. And that rushing touchdown is 4th, puts him just one shy of the NFL record in a single game.
And we all know he would love to get to that record and even beyond it. But he doesn't need to in order to impress in this one, does he? What a performance. What an absolute great game that he's had here in this one.
After the touchdown, here's McManus now to kick it away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now the Broncos defense coming back onto the field. They have played a really good game. They're just looking for one final stop here and celebrate this victory.
And if you're on offense, you don't want them to have that satisfaction. You know that you're not going to win the game. But you don't want them to roll in with those big grins on their faces. So you want to come up with something right here, some type of a big play to dent that good move.
And they'll be trying to not let that dent happen and go home happy. The completion good for 3, and it's 2nd down.
If you're running out route, it's likely you end up near the sideline. And what did we just see there?
Toe tap.
You got it. The benefits of practice. Toe tapping, foot dragging, picking it up, and making sure it was a catch.
Breeze to throw on 2nd down. He's going to hit his man out of the backfield, complete. And they're able to get this one across the 35. It's a 10-yard pickup, and it moves the chains.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
Hits his target, Reuben Randall. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down. Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively. Again, it's Breeze. Snead's got it. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. 15 yards there on the catch and run. Shift together here from the D-line. On 1st down, Breeze. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Boy, he came in off the edge so quickly there.
Look out, because that's exactly what it was being shouted by the offensive lineman to his quarterback, because he had no chance to block him.
On 2nd down, here's Breeze. He's going to find his running back. It's complete. And he'll be brought down. Now the Broncos are going to take a timeout. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. 3rd down now following the completed pass. On 3rd and long, it's Breeze. This is caught. It's Cooks. A pickup of 24 on the 3rd down conversion. And really just a heck of a catch. That's a really good receiver making a nice play.
And against a really good defensive back. Right there together and over the top, the receiver wins the battle.
And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And down inside the 15 he goes.
Now I've been in New York, Texas, Midwest, and it all reminds me of California, cause there's no place like California. California, AATLMIADMV, all reminds me of California, cause there's no place like California. California, New York. Now I'm like LA, met a from Miami to the Machiavelli. Left the kids on the belly, left the vid on my celly. She ate like spaghetti, I'm hitting gas and dready. Met some killers in Memphis, like they from Oakland. Give me my flowers while I can smell them. Ain't talking about roses, literally I'm lean. Mix it like a bought it in Nashville. Then I woke up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's sun, California, but nothing like Compton. It's more like Calistoga, and it's hot as Arizona. I pop me a Fresno, hard colder than Minnesota in October. Don't interrupt, darling, I'm